Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up for a warp speed dive into the latest Trek troubles. Starfleet Academy has once again crash-landed outside the Nielsen ratings, proving that even in the final frontier, not every starship soars. The worst part, though, for them is that the show got roasted on Joe Rogan's podcast when the laughs came faster than a photon torpedo. And let's not forget the bold spotlight on its celebrated gay Klingon character, who's breaking barriers and raising ridges across the galaxy. First, let's start with Jaden, which is a stupid name. And another episode where he's put in a dress, and obviously they're hinting at his loving war college relationship again. The first gay Klingon, ladies and gentlemen. What an amazing feat for modern Star Trek. Let's give it to him for being so stunning and brave, taking the most masculine race out there and making him wear dress and do all kinds of feminine things. He doesn't even like violence. So, good job, Kurtzman Trek. You find ways to just make everybody annoyed with your show with every single episode. I wonder if they'll actually ever deal with that. I wonder, how do they handle that? Well, actually, in this Star Trek, maybe everybody in the Klingon Empire is gay. That could be a thing, or maybe bisexual. I could see that being a thing in Kurtzman Trek. Unfortunately for them, that doesn't really bring people in. We are now in the second week where we can see where this show charts, and we're now 3 episodes deep, and no one's watching it. Starfleet Academy fails to chart in Nielsen ratings for second week in a row. How many people are watching this show? Now, I did a video the other day talking about how a Star Trek guy, artist for the brand, was coming out begging people not to review the show, saying that the negative reviews are going to hurt it. I would argue the fact that nobody's watching the damn show is going to hurt it. I thought this show would chart because I really thought a lot of people would tune in to see the shit show because it has been quite the shit show. So I thought, yeah, people are going to want to tune in and see it at least once. Worked for the Acolyte, not working for Star Trek. Not working for Star Trek. Nobody wants to watch this. And as you can see, we are now in another week. Nobody showed up. Didn't even make the originals chart. And it's important to point out the originals chart because they made this so that other shows, notably older shows and movies, don't cluster things up. Because these shows, like, no one's watching. Like, here's the thing about modern Hollywood. More people are watching the older stuff. So because of that, they had to make these other charts with original content, original for streaming, so we could actually see where they show up. And it's not on here. So the bar is already low for this chart, and it's not showing up. It's pretty funny, at least in my opinion. So nobody's tuning in. This is why they ripped that show off of YouTube, because it was just more embarrassment. And it's going to continue to get worse. In fact, I would argue it already kind of has, because you've got people going on Joe Rogan now and mocking the show. And Joe Rogan, if you didn't know, is one of the most popular podcasts in the country. So now you've got people ripping on the show on the most popular platform in the country, at least one of the most popular in podcast format. And that is a pretty bad look. So it's getting worse. And this guy is a legendary writer, Pulp Fiction writer. One of my favorite movies of all time. Classic movie. This guy up here trashing it, he knows what he's talking about. Turns out he's a Star Trek fan, and he's not happy with the show. Thought we would take a listen and see what he has to say. He brings up a lot of good points here. Let's go over it.
Storytelling, and I think something happened at the studios where they fired all of the legacy people and they hired on a bunch of new people who just weren't as good at storytelling and or as respectful of the canon, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. That is true. That is true. These people don't know what the hell they are talking about. They obviously don't pay attention to what came before. They have made huge mistakes. The dilithium thing is a massive mistake that they did in Discovery because not everybody uses that for warp travel. In fact, there are other ways to do warp travel without dilithium. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they didn't always use dilithium in the Federation. They could go back and use other things, but apparently they never did, and everybody just got retarded and dumb.
You could say,
right,
is what it was.
I mean, how do you not figure these things out? Is it just lazy storytellers? And this isn't just an exclusive Star Trek problem. It's a problem in the entire industry. You have people failing upward all the time. Look at that writer that they hired. I forget her name now, Christina Hodson, I think, who they hired to go work on the new Brave and the Bold Batman movie for James Gunn, who wrote a bunch of dog shit movies that failed. Why is this woman failing up to another comic book movie? She's already proven she can't write. She wrote Birds of Prey and The Flash, shitty comic book movies, one of which already had Batman. And she handled that terribly. You think she's going to write a good movie this time? Probably not. But I guess she kisses the right ass.
But, those seasons of Star Trek are, which I guess you could call from the Gene Roddenberry into the Rick Berman era. And, they had such amazing writers. They had guys like Renee Echeverria and Naren Shankar, and they had technical advisors. And, so if you were just into the tech, you could really and most of...
Absolutely. One of the best things about that older Star Trek stuff was all the tech and the ship porn. I'm not talking about shipping or anything. I'm talking about ships, starships, technology. It was a huge part of everything, not character teen drama. It was smart writing, and you had smart people working on it. And that's why older Star Trek still holds up and will hold up into the future. This is why I wish that they would go and spend a little bit of money. What's really sad? All this garbage that they've been paying for, they could have taken a fraction of that and went and fixed Voyager and DS9 and fixed the effects. One of the reasons why we don't have that show in HD or those shows in HD is because they used, I believe, standard definition for the effects. So if you try to turn that into an HD show, it just is poorly done. They had the same problem with Star Trek 1, the director's cut. Those were in standard definition. They actually paid and fixed that. So we actually have that movie in HD now. I wish they'd do it with those two shows because they hold up. And I would love to have high definition versions of those shows. It would be a worthy investment because people are always going to watch those shows. In 60 years, people will still be watching Deep Space Nine. They won't be watching Starfleet Academy.
Our technology and most of our aspirations have come from Star Trek. Our telephones are basically, like tricorders.
Yeah.
And we're all, and when we see it on Star Trek, like, oh, we talk to the computer. Well, I want to have that. And so somebody figures out a way to develop that and to make it so. And now we have that.
Didn't he actually say computer?
Yeah.
Like he would say computer and ask a question?
Yeah. Well, hey Siri.
Like, hey Siri, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Computer.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I think it's a fantastic show. And then this dweeb Alex Kurtzman comes along and just shits all over everything. Just like...
Absolutely he did. He shit on it all. Canon, everything's a joke now.
Craps all over it. And I went in and met with the guy. I was like, hey, I will write for scale. I'll write on your new show. I just want to be part of it.
Just as an opportunity to work on Star Trek.
And I basically found out he didn't want anybody who had any kind of fondness for the original show.
Now, what do you think about that? Nobody that loved the original, he didn't want him. This is the problem that he ran into, I think, with the Picard season 3, which, by the way, from what I hear, he hates Picard season 3 because he had nothing to do with it, and because of his ego, he's mad that people loved season 3, not season 1 and 2 or Discovery, but they did like that. That should tell you a lot. Anyway.
He wanted to do something new and to create something new. And boy, has he shit the bed. Like
that's an understatement right there. Oh, yeah, he has. No one's watching these shows. Nobody. And as far as I know, from what I remember from vaguely covering a lot, because I didn't watch Discovery. I watched a little bit of it, hated it, stopped watching it. And I'm about to do the same with Starfleet Academy. There's only one episode left, I believe, and then I'm done. I won't be watching season 2. I've had enough. And, you know, he's lucky I even watched it because most people have already tuned out.
In a big way. And this latest thing that they've made, this Starfleet Academy, now it's still ongoing. Maybe it writes itself at some point. You know,
I think they canceled it.
Did they? Good.
No, there's still one more season. But I guess that's the same. They just split season 1. It's what I heard, I think, listening to Nerdrotic on a channel. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe it's just one season that they're splitting.
The newest.
Good. They read the room.
Version.
They read the room. Finally.
Is it if they stop the idea of a season 2?
That fucking Alex Kurtzman, man. His company's called Secret Hideout, I think. He's going to need a secret hideout after all these, after destroying Star Trek for, this latest generation.
Are we talking about the newest one, the one with Tig Notaro? That's the newest one.
Starfleet Academy?
Starfleet Academy is an abomination.
Absolutely it is. Will he need a secret hideout, though? I don't know. How many Star Trek fans are left? Well, I take that back because there's obviously enough to chart Picard Season 3. Picard Season 3 made the original streaming chart. I think it's, like I said, one of the only shows that did. Now, maybe I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's the only show that's charted. Probably because it's the only show, or the only season of that show, because Season 1 and 2 sucked ass. I didn't even watch Season 2 of Picard. Skipped it. I don't even think I finished Season 1 because I hated that too. But Season 3 was okay. In fact, I would say you don't even really need to watch Season 1 and 2. You just watch Season 3 as its own thing.
Is that what you're talking about?
But yeah, I don't think there's many people that really care about Star Trek anymore. Star Trek is in a really bad place. I would argue it's in worse shape than Star Wars.
I could not get through 3 episodes of Discovery. And I mean, they're just it is just awful storytelling.
Yes.
Well, it's also clunky dialogue and bad acting.
Just horrible. And they're more interested in the corporate propaganda than they are with any kind of personal propaganda.
Absolutely true. Alex Kurtzman, I believe it was, or somebody that's affiliated with him, a part of the new Trek. I believe they said that the great thing about this is they can use it as a soapbox. They can spread their messaging through Star Trek, and that's actually more important than the show itself.
Right. It seems like that's the imperative. It's like they get across this inclusive concept.
Picard was terrible. It was sad, actually. It was just depressing for me. And so,
yeah, it was for everybody because I was excited when they said, yeah, Patrick Stewart's coming back and we're going to do a Picard show. I was actually excited for that. I love TNG. And then I saw the final product and it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. Now, at least we got Season 3 out of that. And some people don't like Season 3, and I get it, man, because, comparing Season 3 to TNG, it is apples and oranges in a way. But I still would argue it had the spirit there, and there was good intentions, and it was still a fun show. It was a serviceable cracker for hunger. I did enjoy it, and I recognize a lot of that is nostalgia and stuff, but, it at least respected TNG and Star Trek.
And
it's so
Seth,
bad
what's his name, did that show, The Orville, and that is the proper successor. Yes. They brought back guys like James I
need to watch Orville. I've never watched that. Maybe I should start watching that. Let me know in the comments if I should give Orville my time. I hear it is amazing. I don't know why I never watched it.
Well, Conroy,
but I don't know what the word.
I thought it was making fun of it. I don't know if that's true or not. But if it really is as good as people say, maybe I should start watching it, because I am looking for something new to watch that's not anime. I watch plenty of anime. I'm looking for something to put on once in a while. Maybe I'll check out Orville.
It was kind of like a comedy version Seth MacFarlane did.
Anyway, I think you see what's going on here. This is absolutely embarrassing for Starfleet Academy and Alex Kurtzman. Because like I said, Joe Rogan is one of the biggest platforms out there, and now they're making fun of this show on there. They're making fun of Alex Kurtzman. I mean, that's not good PR. That's not good PR. And this guy's a legendary writer, man. This is one of the best movies ever made, in my opinion. I love Pulp Fiction. Fantastic. Quentin Tarantino's best movie. And that's in my opinion. Second favorite would be, of course, Kill Bill movies, but not a good look for Paramount. And I'm sure they're not happy about it. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing over there at Paramount, because these shows, this is not the first failure for Alex Kurtzman. That Section 31 was a failure. Got nominated for Razzies. I don't know if it won or not. I just laughed when I saw that. Well, that makes sense, because I heard Section 31 was awful. And then you have Discovery. No one's watching that shit. Strange New Worlds, as much as I hear that's an okay show, that never charts either. So no one's watching this stuff. They're not even watching the stuff that people say is good. I tried to watch Strange New Worlds. I didn't like it. Just didn't like the new whatever that Spock is. I don't like him smiling and running around. They're taking too much shit from a pilot. Now, if you like it, that's fine. But I didn't care for it. But I could see why people did. It did feel. That's probably the only show that I've seen that actually feels like Star Trek. It at least kind of feels like the original series. But everything else has just been shit, in my opinion. Anyway, let me know what you think about these new lows. And I wonder, how low can it go? I can't wait to see next week's Nielsen numbers. Now we get to see if this thing ever charts. And I think it will at least 1 week chart. I think people are going to want to see the shit show. I do think eventually it charts real low and then it drops off, just like The Acolyte. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.